So I'm just reading an article, about Greece, surprise. And first of all, let's talk about the vote. Sunday, as I said, I'll be shocked if it's really a no vote. In other words, it wasn't really rigged. The elections may have been telling the truth. Well, it turns out it was 61% to 39 or something like that, or 38 point something. So the no's won it. Now the prime minister, the one who said I'm going to hold a referendum and let the people decide, was interviewed afterwards actually and said, I did let the people decide, but I'll be honest with you, I was expecting a yes vote. I'd already decided it's going to be a yes vote, so I knew I was holding a referendum, but it was going to be a yes vote anyways. And I was pretty shocked when the no's won it. So the own prime minister was sure it was going to be a yes, ended up being a no. The people decided we're tired of these austerity measures you're cramming down our throat. The European, Central Bank and the IMF and the rest of them, the Eurozone. And they said to hell with it. We're suffering anyways. We suffered all this time, but no point in trying to work a deal with you guys. It's just going to be more debt slavery, so screw you. So I was just reading an article, and it was interesting because, it talks about all these, when you see these long lines to the banks, and you're only allowed 60 euros a day withdrawals from the banks, and they're saying in another week and a half or something, the banks are going to run out of money, but the government's also saying we're probably going to start printing drachmas, which is the old currency, and, whatever. But this is a prime example of how the club works. They cause a problem and offer you the solution they always wanted from the beginning, but they could never offer you the solution in the beginning unless you felt a lot of pain that they were going to bring onto you to give them the solution. So it says, so-and-so, a 76-year-old pensioner was, we spoke with, and he said that, he said, I wasn't going to stand in the lines today. It take hours to get to the bank and get your turn of your $60. He said, I wasn't going to stand in the line today. I wanted to take my grandkids out, 2 little girls, to get them some ice cream. He says, the TV's on all day. Everybody's talking about what's happening here. There's long lines on TV. These are 6-year-old kids, and they, even they can tell. They say, Grandpa, what's wrong? What's happening? So even these kids can see that something's going on. He says, but I was the minority in the vote. I voted yes, even though we still lost. Because we need to work out some kind of deal with these guys. Any deal. Just make it stop. Give us any deal. Okay, here's the deal. Your pension just got cut more. You're privatizing more your corporations and companies and services for your people. And we're going to jack those prices up here in the next year or two when you need us not to the most. You want a deal, any deal, you said, just make the pain stop. How many times in the past of my videos have I said and used that exact term? I'll accept anything, just make the pain stop. Make the pain stop, we'll accept any deal you got. And I would always say, it's the equivalent of somebody like, another example, but it's like the equivalent of somebody robbing you and torturing you and telling you, by the way, because that's what the news is telling us, it's your fault. It's the Greek people's fault. When if you saw my other video that I said I'm going to send to myself and keep, because this is a good one, that is the real reason. They put you into debt slavery, and then they rig the bond ratings agencies, companies, to tell you, oh, your debt's not AAA status anymore, your bonds, so now you're going to have to pay more on that debt. So again, that's the equivalent, by the way, of these adjustable rate mortgages. They were great when they came out. Low interest rate to start with. Man, the market's going up. You can't go wrong. You buy a house, live in it for 2 years or whatever, flip it. You're going to make a killing. And then all these people got stuck in these adjustable rate mortgages, couldn't sell the house, rates went up. Hey, I thought I was going to be able to sell this, and I can't sell my house. It's not even worth what I'm asking for it. Oh my God, my adjustable rate's coming up for renewal, and the rate right now is not good compared to where it was. My mortgage is going to go up a few $100s a month. I can't afford it. Oh my God. What happened? Market crashed. So what did they do? They raised the rates, thus causing devastation. What did they do in Greece and all these Latin American countries in the past? IMF and friends. Give you a loan, your rating's going down. Gotta pay a heftier interest rate on those bonds now. Yeah, but we were struggling to begin with, which is why we needed a loan from you to begin with. So now we gotta pay back that additional loan when we were already having problems that this loan was supposed to solve, but now we gotta pay interest on this loan, plus the bonds, the things we were struggling paying payments on, have gone up because of the ratings agencies that we don't own, that the world uses as a, guide, and just so happen to be owned by the club. So now our debt's even higher. Well, you're gonna have to sell off that waterway, maybe that oil company, state-owned oil company, electric service, to pay us back. And you know what I would do if I were head of a country? Yeah, guy, come on, bring your best guys. IMF, World Bank, bring your top guys. We'll work out a deal today. I really want to work with you. I want to get this debt taken care of. They're gonna come in. They're gonna call all their club members. Guys, we got so-and-so country by the balls. He's gonna work a deal out with us today. He promised. Oh, go get him. Yes, sir. And when they come into my country, everything looks good. They're in their suit and ties. They're prestigious people. And they come in. I do a little snap. Doors open. Federal agents, police, whatever, come in. You're under arrest in our country. You were stupid enough to come here. You're not in an embassy safe zone. You're under arrest. Can't get you for treason because you're not a citizen of our country, but you are under arrest and you're going to go rot in the equivalent of a dungeon for rigging these markets, rigging the rating agencies. We caught you red-handed. And the only way we will let you out is when you give debt forgiveness to all other countries that are currently owing you money. How's that sound? The same tactic that they would use on us, cause a problem, offer the solution. You just got offered my solution that I wanted to give you from the beginning, but I knew I couldn't get you over here if I said that at first. I couldn't tell you the solution. The solution was to throw your ass in jail. And immediately you would come up with a deal, wouldn't you? Here, let me say it for you. Just make the pain stop. I'll do anything. I'll accept any terms. We'll wipe up all the debt. Just make the pain stop. The problem is, these people haven't experienced any pain. They're the ones causing the pain, so they're the ones who make us say, just make the pain stop, I'll do anything. So we, as a worldwide population, have to make them feel a little pain, so to speak. And believe me, they will crack so fast once you've cornered them individually. Once you know the names and the people. Again, we know the Rockefeller family. We know the Rothschild banking family. We know, with the internet, we know all the little puppets they've put into power and under, whether it's the Security and Exchange Commission, the CFTC, regulatory. We know exactly who you are and who's been the head of those places for all these years while all this crap was going on, which means all of you look the other way, make them pay these little tiny fines to do this massive fraudulent stuff to us that should put them in rotting in prison. Settle out of court, no charges filed, just keep going. Pay this little fine. Could you imagine robbing a bank and being allowed to pay a small fine out of the pillaging you just did from the bank? You stole $2 million and only had to pay back $200,000 as a fine. And admit no guilt. That is the equivalent of what's been happening. Rob a bank, $2 million profit, pay a $200,000 fine. No admission to guilt. Have a nice day. But you can't rob banks for the next year. That's a part of the fine. All right, I guess I'll have to live on my $1.8 million for the next year. Next year's up. Oh, I can go rob another bank. Yes. Go rob that other bank. Another $3-4 million this time. Bigger heist. Your fee's going to go up too. You got away with a $200,000 fine last time. Well, that was what the $2 million bounty you had. Now you've got double that, $4 million bounty. You're going to have to pay a $400,000 fine, sir. And you're not admitting guilt. And this time, you don't have to do the whole year thing. You can go back and rob another bank right away. Because we didn't want to get any fire for that, any heat for that, so go ahead. We're good. Oh, by the way, anyway, hey, hold on, before you leave. I've only been here for about 3 years. And you know I've been making these sweet deals for you, right? Yeah. I'm going to need a job in the next year or two. Oh, you already have a desk and office ready for? Okay, all right, just checking. Thanks. See ya. Pay the fine on your way out, no big deal. Matter of fact, you don't have to pay it, just pay it next month. And then a year goes by, person leaves the regulatory agency, goes right into Goldman Sachs, goes right into JP Morgan, goes right into Bank of America, goes right into Citigroup, wherever. Got plenty of places for you guys. You've been looking out for us. But the problem is, we've been paying you as taxpayers to look out for us. It is not only us paying you to look out for us, it is your duty, it is your job. Even if you volunteered and it was free, you are volunteering. It's not free and it's not a volunteer job, but even if it was, the same rules apply, which are you are here to protect the American people from any market rigging, market manipulation, banker bailouts, any of that. Nope. You can't do that. I understand this is a very prestigious and honorable job, but you got a bunch of unhonorable or dishonorable corrupt politician type people with the same mindset as these corrupt politicians, which is give me mine, I only care about me, and I'm abusing this position, and I can abuse this position because everybody else around me who might be able to do something about it is also abusing their positions for the same people for the same reasons. So no one's going to rat on each other. We're all in this together. This is great. Not that we want to rat on each other because we're living the good life, and we're going to even live a better life as soon as we leave here and go work for one of these banks. So once again, the real purpose of the story, just make the pain stop. I'll accept anything, says the 76-year-old pensioner. I felt like we should agree to anything, he says. Just make this stop. Believe me, that's what they were counting on. So we have to reverse that role on these people. See, because we are the massive majority on this planet. They're the minority. It would be so easy for us to put pressure on them and make them say, just make the pain stop, we'll change our ways. But no one does it. We turn on the news. You Greeks borrowed more money than you should have. You've been living above your means. What's wrong with you? The media is lying to you. The media is lying to you. But just like the Roman Empire days, literally, I mean, perfectly, they started the pension system back then. Give us 20 years of service, you get a pension. And they found out we can't pay for all of our bills plus these pensions. And now these people are retiring, and now we've got 20 years of people. Each and every year is a 20-year retirement for somebody, right? Because we started 20 years ago, and then 19 years later, or not even, 19 years to go. So 1 year into it, well, we got a new set of soldiers coming in, right? Young bucks, so to speak, and they've got 20 years. So as soon as you hit 20 years, 21 years, 22 years, all these years, it's a 20 year for somebody. So what happens when you have stacks and stacks of 20 years? All these people are alive, all collecting pensions. In other words, 30, 40 years into it. You've got a massive bill that can't be paid. And this is the problem. This is the problem everywhere where the word pension is used. Only unless you paid for your own pension out of your own dollar, and it was never a such thing as the government saying, well, you work for us and you get a pension. No. Because when that happens, you are guaranteed to get screwed depending on where you are in that pension line I just explained. If you're the first one in the 20 years, you're good to go. But if you get in later in the game and then it's finally time for you to retire, that's about the time when you see the Greek stories coming all over the place. Can't pay for pensions. We got to borrow money to help pay. The only time a pension will work is if you or your company itself is paying for the pension. And even then, once you've collected your pension, they invest that stuff into the market. So what happens when the market starts crashing? While your pension's due? Not good. So anyways, point being again, make the pain stop. I'll accept anything, says the old folk. The old folk mindset is not the right mindset. But as an old folk, what's he going to do? Go join, get up in arms at 76 years old? No. He wants to do the easiest path of least resistance. And that is, I'll accept anything, just make the pain stop. And I got to tell you, Grandpa, that's the coward maneuver. Not acceptable by today's standards. Take care.